Leon Ayo here from the British Chamber of Business in Southern Africa, joined by CEO of Woodbender, Andy Mast. Now, Woodbender are a really exciting new member of the British Chamber. We've actually spent quite a bit of time together exploring their heritage, their strategy and vision for the future. And Andy is a young CEO with international aspirations. So we're going to spend the next few minutes getting to know him and his organization a bit better. I think, Andy, a lovely way to start is give us a bit about your background and perhaps more specifically, what was the first job you ever had?
Okay, well, hi Leon, thanks for having me on. My work career has always centered around Woodbender. So holiday jobs was coming here, shredding the archive room with an ancient shredder that would take 2 pages at a time and feeding a mountain of documents through and getting a couple rand for that. Working in the factory with the production guys. So any chance I got, I was coming into the factory and really doing odd jobs, labor jobs around the place, just getting a feel for the place.
Did you always envisage yourself going into the business then?
No, not at all. Growing up, I wanted nothing to do with Woodbender. I mean, I was coming here to earn money, to do other things during holidays. But, you know, with the family business, the company was started in 1988. I was born in 1991. So the company was relatively new when I was on the scene. And so my whole life has been with Woodbender around the dinner table, Woodbender over weekends. You know, and in those kind of conversations, talking about all the positive stuff about Woodbender, you're hearing about all the trials and difficulties that you know, my folks at the time were having to go through with the company. And so as a result, you would listen to that and just think to yourself, well, I wouldn't touch this with a stick. And that's, you know, that's the honest truth. And I think I had all sorts of other ideas with what I wanted to do, but my parents always said to me, well, make sure you know what you're saying no to. And with that was the caveat: if you come to the company, make sure you're coming and you're adding value. You're not just going to, you know, cruise in here and take over the place. And so I reached a bit of a crossroads when I finished my trek. Wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. Had a couple options, applied for a couple university things, and ended up doing a BCom degree at Stellenbosch University. And then I did my 1 year, was supposed to be Bender, and I think I'm at my 8th year now. And yeah, I love it, and I'm very pleased. I took my parents' advice, was you know, make sure you know what you'll be saying no to, because it would have been a mistake.
And you touched on Woodbender being born in 1988. Give us like the edited highlights of the journey of Woodbender and its heritage and where you see it now. And then we'll explore about you as the new CEO, where you want to take it forward.
Sure. So my father started it. He had been working on a dairy farm, or multiple dairy farms, as a farm manager before that, but he always had a passion for woodwork. And so he turned his hobby into a business because he was tired of milking cows at 3 in the morning, you know, 365 days of the year. And he started in a garage, very grassroots sort of cottagey furniture, but had aspirations to bend wood, which was relatively unknown in South Africa at the time. There was one other company doing it, as far as I know. And it was quite a popular method of manufacturing overseas, in Europe specifically. And so, you know, Somerset West Public Library didn't have any resources on how to bend wood in 1988, and there was no internet, of course. So it was trial and error, and it was 18 months of breaking a lot of wood whilst trying to bend it until he figured out how to bend the components to make one chair. And the reason why he was so insistent on figuring it out is because there were bent wood chairs all over the place. So he knew it could be done. He knew it would be unique in South Africa, which would give us an edge. And so he was just persistent, and he figured it out. And so I think that sort of pioneering spirit, that persistence, that's how he has built the company, along with my mum and my grandfather at the time as well. And tackled some enormous challenges over the last 32 years, and always found a way to turn those challenges into opportunities, which it's that spirit, it's that pioneering spirit, it's that grit, it's that determination that has carried us through the last 32 years. And that's what I believe is going to help us sort of tackle these next challenging times that we face. And I'm excited to be heading up the company now. It is a daunting time to be taking over the reins, but I'm excited to be able to carry on that legacy and hopefully leave a positive mark on the company and prepare it for future generations, whether that's my kids, my sister's kids, someone completely different. The goal is to keep this going and to continue building a legacy over the next couple of generations.
I mean, you talk about that resilience and persistence, which it's a common theme with entrepreneurs, and at the darkest moments, success is just around the corner. It's those that keep going. We're in a current COVID context, world recession. How have you dealt with that challenge? What have you learned? What do you think has seen you through the last 6-9 months?
Yeah, sure. I think, one spends a lot of time thinking back over the last couple of months. First of all, just incredibly grateful that we've made it through. You look around and there's a lot of people who haven't. Our industry in particular has taken a knock. We focus on South African hospitality as our core market. And as everyone knows, that's under tremendous strain at the moment, although there's light and we're seeing nice movement again. But I think it was a time of real reflection for us as a company. It wasn't a time of dramatic change, but I think a lot of the things that we had been planning to do and sort of putting on the back burner just because of everyday busyness, we realized that, now is the time that we don't have a choice. You mentioned in the introduction how I have aspirations to take the company more international, and it's those kind of discussions that have been happening in the wings for many years, but always sidelined and reprioritized, where now we understand that in order for the company's long-term sustainable growth, that's a conversation that needs to start taking center stage. And another big thing that we've really been challenged with was the concept of waste. And just in all aspects of the company, looking at where we have been wasteful. When there can be one, why do we have two? It's those kind of questions, difficult questions that we've been asking ourselves. You lift a rock up and you see a whole lot of stuff that usually you would put the rock back down and ignore, but now you're having to confront it and deal with it. And so candid conversations, difficult decisions, but it's been really positive. And I think for the company's growth and preparation for our next growth push, it's really set us up nicely. So it's, again, a big challenge, but there's been opportunities and a lot of lessons that we've learned over the last couple of months.
And it's been great to bring you into the Chamber community and ecosystem, and we've spent some time together. I mean, what have you found as benefits of being part of the Chamber? And equally, what are the critiques? What could we do more for you?
Well, I think I joined the Chamber in the middle of lockdown, so I haven't had the benefit of face-to-face, meetings and meet and greets, but already just the networking opportunities. It's something. I was born in Somerset West, lived in Somerset West my whole life, had no intentions of leaving Somerset West, so you can imagine my network is fairly small. But as soon as I've entered the Chamber, all of a sudden the people I've been exposed to through yourself and Cecilia, the meetings I've been in, the conversations that have been happening, I don't know how else I would have achieved that if not through yourself, Cecilia, in the Chamber. So I've seen massive benefits to it. I can't critique it because my experience has just been positive. I look forward to the day we can all meet in some sort of environment again, and I can start meeting these people face to face. But technology, we're so privileged to have what we've got, and it's really been useful to me. Another aspect to it that I want to mention is mentorship. And I'm young. I'm 29 years old. I'm now head of this company. I don't pretend to have a 30-year work experience that's really, equipped me for this role. But what I do have, especially through yourself, Cecilia, in the Chamber, is access to some incredible mentors who can fast forward that 30 years experience I might not have. I can lean on people who do have that experience. And for me, I think out of everything, that's been the biggest benefit, is being able to say, hey, Leon, I'm faced with this decision, or I'm struggling with this at the moment. What do you think? And if you don't have the answers, you're able to put me in touch with someone who does. And it's, you know, at this time in our company's history, we don't have the luxury of making too many mistakes right now. We've got to make sure wise decisions are made from the get-go, and we're making those decisions with the help and input of other people. And so, yeah, the chamber's been really great with helping me with that.
That's good to hear. And I'm hearing, you know, we need to fail fast, recover quickly, not lick our wounds, pivot in the right direction.
Exactly.
So kind of heading towards our conclusion, two semi-existential questions. You know, what is it that keeps you up at night? And what are your greatest hopes for the future?
Yeah, you know, it's been a stressful year for sure, but I think the things that actually keep me up at night are the exciting things. It's the stuff that I struggle to go to sleep because the next morning I want to get into the office and I want to get going with it. So yeah, there's been tough times, difficult conversations that have to happen. You know, the night before you're sitting down with someone to have a tough discussion, those are horrible nights. And the next couple of days afterwards don't feel so great either. But it's all decisions and steps that we're making that are exciting in the sense that we know that they are setting us up to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. And so, yeah, long-term success and my hopes for the company would be an international footprint, a diversified market that spans further than just the South African hospitality market. You know, we have reach up into Africa, but how can we solidify those channels more? How can we start including some more, you know, European countries, UK? And so 5-10 years time, I would love to sit back and be able to see a company that has grown, that growth has been sustainable, not just a massive spike in the graph. And that, yeah, we're able to take on the next challenge better equipped than we are now. And that's just helping that legacy and setting up the next generation to be able to push it to the next level.
Nice. I think the aspirations, and I think noble aspirations, and I think what you said about the chamber, and I think what businesses had to do, and what the whole macroeconomic situation has told us in the last 12 months is we went for a period of Brexit, Trumpism, Zoomerism, around nationalism and independence. And what we're really seeing now is the need for interdependence, ecosystems. We cannot all do it by ourselves. And the spirit of Ubuntu we talk about in Africa, we can bring that into our sustainable capitalism that we're really pushing through the chamber. So working with dynamic young CEOs like yourself, but are carrying a family heritage forward and helping you launch that in the UK, but equally grow here amongst our membership in Southern Africa. So I want to encourage all our members to engage with you, reach out to you, look at your products. And we're really excited about continuing our partnership to, over the next few years and 10 years, looking back, perhaps over a glass of South African red, saying, look at what we achieved. Absolutely. Andy, really good to talk to you. Thank you for spending the time with us. And we wish you all the very best going into 2021. And no doubt we will have those physical face-to-face events as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Leon. Appreciate it.